Good evening. 8 o'clock. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is a really good turnout. So thank you all for joining this first session of the Virtual Power Group in Scotland. Some of you may have come here from the podcast that we did with Mark Christie. Some of you maybe saw some of the LinkedIn stuff. Some of you may be on here because your boss has told you, but you are all welcome. So for those who don't know this, I guess we've been talking about this for a couple of years now. Some of us, those of us that are based in Edinburgh, kind of used to meet ad hoc in a pub to talk about Power Platform. We used to talk about Power Platform for about 15 minutes and then just get pissed. So that was, but then we thought, well, you know, surely there must be more people that want to talk about Power Platform. And then, of course, the Scottish Summit came along. For those that were at Scottish Summit earlier this year, that was the second one. Fantastic attendance, and we kind of really want to build on that momentum, build and grow that community that exists in Scotland. So yeah, this is it, you know. So shouts out to it's myself, David Stewart. We've got Claire Carmichael, Reese Campbell, Billy Lyle, and David Small, and Paddy Byrne, last but not least. And it's a big shout out to Claire, really. It's Claire that's kind of put together the team site and all that authentication piece, you know, with allowing you guys to come in and be guest accounts and to have this team site, to have these channels that are building with information to allowing us to all kind of collaborate. So big shout out to Claire. And then, you know, the rest of us have kind of done little bits in the background just to make ourselves look busy. So it is very much an informal piece. The idea is so some of us have got many years of experience with Dynamics, with Microsoft. Some of you on the call, maybe not, and you're just coming along and finding out what it's all about. It's really not about, we're trying to stay away from the ego thing. We're trying to stay more towards informal social discussion, just seeing what's going on in Scotland, seeing big news about what's going on with Power Platform. So I guess we've got a discussion on tonight. So Ian Kennedy's come along. He's going to be talking about Omnichannel. Paddy Byrne is doing a weekly piece or like an evening class on a Monday night. Paddy, I'll get you to say something in 2 minutes. And then there's the team site that's open all the time, so you can go in, ask questions if there's anything that you're struggling with. There's also a bit of a careers board. I think, Reese, we've got one job up there, have we, right now? Nod or shake your head.
Still to go up. It's the Craneware one. We haven't actually put it up yet.
So there's a job coming to that career site any day now, which is a vacancy with Craneware. So it is very much what's going on with Scotland, what's going on with the Scottish market, who's hiring, what are the big projects that are coming on, who are the people that are working in Scotland, irrespective of whether you're Edinburgh, Glasgow, Inverness, Dundee, Aberdeen. It's very much about getting you together in this forum. Last piece on that is, why are we virtual? We always wanted to be virtual, really, because some of us have other commitments in the evening, such as looking after our kids and making sure they're fed and bathed properly. So we felt that we'd try this virtual thing. Of course, we'll still meet up in the pub. We'll still have physical meetups, and you know that they'll come out of these sessions. But this is very much the core, the backbone. We felt that would help to kind of drive that interaction within the Scottish community. Paddy, do you want a quick slot about your evening class, your night class?
Yeah, so we ran the first class last night and it seemed to be a bit of a success. So I'll be running fortnightly Mondays night class, calling it Power Apps Nights. And it's based kind of aimed at beginners, but with I'm going to bring my own experience and the experience of the other admins, hopefully to it. So it's not just a technical walkthrough, it's designed to prompt discussion, going into some best practices, and hopefully people will disagree with, but my best practices as well, and join the discussion and point things out. It's just about, again, get people talking about things and to help the people new to the platform where to get started.
Cool. Paddy, how many people did you get last night?
We had 17 registrations, I think. I think we've got about 8 all in when it was total. I think I counted it when I was watching one of the video back. I think we had about 8 who was on it, and we did chat afterwards as well. We're only recording the first half of the session, so the first half of the session is available on the YouTube channel now. I think it is clear, isn't it? Yep. It's available on the YouTube channel now. So if you want to go back and watch that, you can. And then we put the cameras off and have a bit of a gab afterwards. And the next one I'll be doing will be on forms and the different components that you can put on forms, and we'll look at each component in depth there.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So to correct my mistake, Paddy's every fortnight, not every week, and this forum is every month. And obviously the team site's there if you want to message one or reach out to anybody in between those dates. So agenda, I hate to get formal on you, the agenda, so Ian Kennedy's come along to present Omnichannel. We'll have a bit of Q&A with regards to what you've seen. If there's anything you don't understand, don't be shy, shout out, ask the question. We'd all rather you ask the question, and maybe somebody else is thinking the same question and they're just not, they're too shy to ask. So please watch the demo, give us your thoughts on the demo, give us the structure, and after the Q&A we'll kind of reach out to everyone and have a bit of discussion about what kind of things you want to hear in this forum. Without further ado, if we could hand over to Ian Kennedy, who's going to give us a presentation on the demo.
Cool. Thank you, David. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'd like to keep this as interactive as possible, or else it's just going to be me talking to myself for 20 minutes, and I don't really fancy doing that. First of all, really, so it's omnichannel engagement really is kind of what's in the subject heading for this session, but really it's actually more individual components of the sort of Microsoft Power Platform stack kind of put together to kind of come up with some sort of customer service journey. And we'll kind of talk about those individual components, and I'll try and kind of set the scene with what we see as a good customer service journey throughout all of these individual components. First of all, just to kind of, obviously, I don't know everyone on the call. I think actually looking at some of the names, you're surprised at how many people you kind of do meet throughout being in this Dynamics sort of Power Platform community, which is really good. So I'm Ian Kennedy. I am a pre-sales consultant at Redspire. I've been working with Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform for the last 3 years now. And in fact, even in my time, even since I came in at version 8, it's changed quite a lot. It's now, especially in this pre-sales world, it's amazing how quickly you can kind of develop and deliver things and show them to customers. It's amazing how quickly you can really start to do some really cool stuff. And hopefully today we'll give you an idea of what you can kind of pull together in a short space of time. It's changed quite a lot. It's now, especially in this pre-sales world, it's amazing how quickly you can kind of develop and deliver things and show them to customers. It's amazing how quickly you can really start to do some really cool stuff. And hopefully today we'll give you an idea of what you can kind of pull together in a short space of time. A group of us pulled this together in about two or three days. So it's a really good example of that. Favorite thing, I kind of added a few points about myself. Claire's like, do it about you slide. So I was like, all right, it's quite, don't know what to say. It's my favorite thing about the Power Platform, but I really kind of, I'm lucky in my role is I get to kind of play about with all these kind of new platforms, technologies, and it's all pretty good. It's all from the AI to the model-driven apps, this Power Virtual Agent, which I think is really powerful as well. So yeah, I think the Power Platform's really kind of changed what we have to offer. Quick run through what the agenda is going to be. So I'm going to go through a demo, which is sort of 20 minutes, give or take. Question and answers at the end of that, but we can kind of make this as interactive as possible and kind of have a question and answer session throughout the demo. And then I believe afterwards it's just a kind of a discussion to kind of come up with a topic that would be good that everyone kind of would like to discuss the next time we do something like this, and then just discussion, light-hearted discussion afterwards. So before I go into the demo, let me talk through our sort of scenario that we have and the components that we're using. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see the Power Virtual Agent, we're going to see the Power Apps portal, we're going to see a bit of Dynamics 365 customer service and the Omnichannel customer service add-on. And what we see this process flow is almost a filter process. So our first step is a Power Virtual Agent that has been deployed on our website. That allows a customer to come in through our website, engage with that Power Virtual Agent and start to ask questions of it. That Power Virtual Agent is going to direct it to FAQs or try and find, FAQs try and answer their query. If it doesn't answer their query, then we're kind of using the questions in there to try and establish the nature and the urgency of their request. And that's when we kind of use the other elements. If we establish that they're, it's a query, but they're not really needing an urgent resolution, then we're going to kind of use that portal's capability for the customer to log into a portal and have visibility of their outstanding cases. For examples, when it is urgent and they want to wait in a queue, then we're going to use a live escalation through to chat capability with one of our agents using the Omnichannel customer service. So we're going to go through 3 sort of scenarios here. First one is just logging in, using the Power Virtual Agent to come up to respond and successfully respond to our customer query. The next one is going to kind of come through and create a case and link the customer to the portal so they can track that offline. And then the final one will be actually escalation through to the live agent using Omnichannel. Going to go in and begin our demo, and I've navigated to a Redspire website, and what we've done here is deployed the Power Virtual Agent on that, and that's really easy to do. You take a bit of the code snippet in the administration page from the Omnichannel engagement, and you just add that to your website. Here, when you can see, you have, as I engage with this Power Virtual Agent, it's kind of asking me what they can help with. It's informing me at any time that I'm able to speak to a human agent, and also now asking me what's the nature of my query today. So in this example, I'm going to talk about insurance. So this is where I always spell this wrong. No spell mistakes there. But what the Power Virtual Agent is, it's not quite understood. So it's not what my phrase hasn't triggered specifically a topic, but it's smart enough to know that I'm interested in insurance. So it's kind of browsing through its topics to do with insurance and suggesting that to the customer. If not, you can say none of these, and it's going to ask you to rephrase it. So it's constantly trying to understand the query that we have, or come up with suggestions to the customer so that it's understanding, not having to repeat that information. In this example, I'm going to say that I am interested in my travel insurance. And what the Power Virtual Agent now is taking all the FAQs that are linked to the travel insurance category and kind of displaying them to a customer. And then as the customer, I can go through these and select the one that is most relevant to myself. So when I select that, what the Power Virtual Agent now is doing is taking that topic and presenting me as a customer with that information. So I can read through their FAQs, and if I've got the answer to my query, then it's asking me if they've got a question. I'm able to say yes, and that would be a case sort of deflection. So that would be our first scenario of filtering out the queries from our customers. That would be one solved at this Power Virtual Agent level. In this example, I'm just going to say no, and that's where we kind of come on to our second sort of scenario, where the Power Virtual Agent's really going to try and establish with the customer how urgent their need is. So we've configured this to say, are you able to wait 24 to 72 hours? Just let the customer know that, there will be a wait, but we will work on it. And if the customer says yes, then what we're going to do is try and ask him to create a case. So when the customer says create a case, we're going to try and do some identification. And this, we've just put a really light step identification process, but you can make this as multi-steps as you wanted. So what we've done is ask me the customer for my second name and email address to identify myself. And what was my... And then what that's doing is looking at our CDS database and trying to identify, based on the surname and the email address, if it can find me as a customer, as an existing customer in the system. And what it's doing is we've put this kind of step in here where at all times, even when it's doing something in the background, it's kind of updating the customer to let them know that, right, we are working on something in the background, so the customer doesn't think it's kind of frozen. This sample is said, is this Ian Kennedy? So it's found that information based on the email and the surname, and it's presented it to me, and I can say yes or no. Selecting yes, yeah.
How is it going out to get that information from the chatbot?
So using Power Automate.
Right.
So you got your connectors through to your CDS. So it's taking that information and finding it and bringing it back.
Cool.
Thanks for the question, Billy.
I'm here for you.
So what that's done is it's gone, it's found Ian, but what it's also done is looked again in the CDS and brought back that there are 2 active cases at the moment for Ian Kennedy. So rather than as a customer, it's present that you already have 2 open. Are you sure you want to raise another? And if not, it's going to give that link to the portal. So if as a customer I'm like, oh, I have got 2 open, I want to go and check it, it's reminding me to go and check that portal. If in the example where it's still asking me, I know there's 2 existing, but this is about something else, then I'm going to say yes. And it's now going to ask me some information about that and create a case for me. I'll call this travel insurance. So now it's asking me to kind of give a brief description on what the nature of the case is. And in the background, what that's going to do is raise that case and provide the customer a case number as a reference. So when if they do call in to speak to a live agent, they've got that reference number. When they go onto the portal, they're able to use that reference number as identification for their cases that they've raised. So as we can see at this moment, the Power Virtual Agent has created a case. It's provided me with a case number and also provided me with a link to the portal. So as a customer, if I click on that link, oh, that's not working. As always, live demos, something's likely to go wrong. We'll skip over that. This is the portal. So as this is using the Power Portal, where a customer, I've logged in already to say, but you'd be directed to login screens where your customer put in the username and their password. And at this moment, they can browse the knowledge base. So you can manage a knowledge base in Dynamics 365, and you're able to front out certain articles to the customers so they can browse through those and try and self-serve themselves as well. When they go on to the My Support tab here, they can see all their existing cases and they'll be able to see what the description is. So here we can see that travel insurance inquiry is gone and they can see what status they're in. So they can go in at any time. They've got that 24-hour access to update, see the status of these cases that have been worked offline. So that's our scenario 2 for the non-urgent inquiries. Let me give this a refresh. And now we'll go into that that scenario where it is actually an urgent request and we're going to ask to speak to a live agent. So I'm going to try and quickly get through the Power Chat to the case where the Power Virtual Agent to the case where I'm speaking to a live agent. Is there any questions on what we've kind of seen so far?
How much is this is out of the box and how much configuration have you done?
It's out of the box elements. It's more configuration rather than customization at this point. So the Power Portal we've put a bit of a skin in that. We've kind of cleaned it up and taken some of the information out. For the Power Virtual Agent, that's all kind of configuration of topics and question and answer trees and a bit of Power Automate to get the connection between the CDS and the Power Virtual Agent. And then when you come onto the Omnichannel, there's a little bit of kind of configuration there to kind of get the handover, get the queues working. But other than that, this is I'd say it's more configuration rather than customization.
So, did you say at the beginning it was what, 3 days or something like that took you to pull this together? Was that even that much?
Yeah, it was about 3 days. It was, I mean, we had a few folk on it, so it's not, it wasn't one person working this 3 days, but I'd say it was about 3 days with a good team of sort of three of us.
So I guess, you've given a skin, yeah? Like a red spire skin, so it's red, yeah?
Yeah, well that's what, there's a few options in the admin of the Power Virtual Agent where it just gives you a few color schemes. The portal.
So my company is quite heavy on the purple at the moment and it's branding, could I customize it or is it like a default set of?
There is a purple.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've seen a purple.
Yep.
I think there's quite a few options. I'm not sure about if you can customize them.
All right.
There is a designer. So with development work, you can take those chat widgets, both the Omnichannel chat widget and the Power Virtual Agent chatbot structure. There is a designer that you can create a custom canvas for those applications.
Cool. And I guess it was struggling with your spelling of insurance there. I mean, could we put this through cognitive services or something? Could we make it a bit more intelligent?
You can link it with Azure Cognitive Services as well.
Cool, thanks.
So I've got myself now back to the point where the FAQs haven't answered the question, and the Power Virtual Agent is trying to establish the urgency of my query. In this example, I'm going to say I am not able to wait, and I am willing to join a queue for an immediate response. So when on selecting yes from the customer, what the agent is now doing is trying to pass that through to a live agent. So now I'm going into the Omnichannel customer service. I've got a couple of users set up here, so try and find the one that's come in. And now we're in the Omnichannel engagement. And as we can see, we're logged in as our user, and they've been prompted with a chat request from visitor one. So at this point, we don't know who that customer is. So when as the agent, you accept a couple of users set up here, so try and find the one that's come in. And now we're in the Omnichannel engagement. And as we can see, we're logged in as our user, and they've been prompted with a chat request from visitor one. So at this point, we don't know who that customer is. So when as the agent, you accept this, what the handover here is you've got a full transcript of the interaction so far. So from that agent level, you've got the information when you pick it up. From that customer experience, you're not having to duplicate that discussion with the agent, the Power Virtual Agent, and the live agent. So as you can see, you've got that kind of history of what's happened. This page message, and you'll see that in a minute when I'll try, you can consult a colleague, and that's kind of messages that are internal that aren't surfaced through to the customer. So what we have here is our workstream of our chat capability. If we look here as well, it's looking at the conversation so far and giving us a sentiment analysis. So based on the discussion so far, what would they say is the feeling, the sentiment of the customer? And that kind of changes live as well. So one of the other things you have is you have quick complies. So you can configure these yourself. So a customer, your agent can come in and have some canned responses, so it saves time. Let me see, I'll go, hello, how may I help you? And send that across. Now, from the customer's point of view, I'll show that coming through. And you can see that Claire, our agent, has said, hello, how may I assist you? And I'll show you this for the sentiment analysis. I will show I'm unhappy. So when the customer says I'm unhappy, when I go back into our agent's view in Omnichannel, you will see now that we've got a slightly negative sentiment based on unhappy. I don't know how you get very negative. Might have to swear.
You do have to swear at it. I tested it.
Nice. So a couple of other slight things you have here. So in this point, you are able to search for a customer. So if you've asked for the customer's name, and in this example, I'll say I've spoken to Ian and I've got it's Ian Kennedy, then what we're able to get here is some information on from our Dynamics database, CDS database for our cases. So we can see, this is our profile on Ian the contact. We can see recent interactions and we can see recent cases. If I click into the name there, this takes us into that kind of full contact record that we have. And you can navigate through this as you would as a normal Dynamics application. And again, as you can see the history of the chats that we've had and any other interactions. You'd be able to see any open cases from this point as well. So you could go in and you could give them an update if they're asking for an update on an existing case. Or if in the example when they wouldn't have a case already created, you can create a new case from in here and give them the case reference number. You also have the ability from the agents to browse the knowledge base so that you're having kind of sensible conversations with the customer. Haven't quite configured this one quite right, so it wouldn't bring a subject across, but let's talk about insurance. and your agent is able to browse that knowledge base so they can kind of find what's relevant to the customer's query and be more informed in the discussions that they're having. From the, as I said before, you have the ability as an agent to consult with another member of staff. So to initiate that consultants, we can see that we have, coming here, we can see that Adam is available and we can add him to this discussion. So what that does is from Adam's Omnichannel engagement application, we can see there is a consult request. This time it's telling us who the customer is because we've linked it to that customer. We can accept, and again, Adam will have that full transcript of what's happened before. They can see there's a slightly negative sentiment at now, but also if you can see here, these are internal messages. So these are the ones that are beige, so that Adam can help with the solution here. When I send that, you will see across the three that you can see that Adam has joined or another agent has joined. You can't see the message that Adam has sent. And if we go into Claire's, you can see that Adam has come in for that help with the conversation. Other things you can do is the agent can take notes, they can update their profile, they can continue that conversation to resolution. And once it's ended, they have a bit of a period where they're kind of working offline to maybe update their records, save their notes, and then when they close this down, they'll be able to join the queue to take another call. So that's it from the demo. Is there any sort of points anyone would like to go back over, discuss a bit more?
Ian, just a quick one. Are you able to turn off the ability for them to know if another agent has joined the conversation?
Don't know about that, to be honest. I have to take a look at that.
Yeah, no worries.
The consult or the consult agent can also speak publicly in that scenario. So although they had only messaged internally, they can also make a public message in that scenario. There is a third persona essentially, and that would be that of a reviewer. So you can almost it's not a reviewer, it's a monitor. So you can have another agent in as a monitor role if they have that supervisor security within the Omnichannel Engagement Hub. And in that scenario, it wouldn't necessarily notify the end user or the customer at the other end, because they wouldn't be able to communicate directly with the customer.
Cool, thank you.
It's just the role that you bring that person in on. That scenario specifically is you're unhappy. I'm going to bring my manager in to see if maybe they can sort this out for you.
Ian, you mentioned that they were free to take another call, but I guess this is through virtual agent, isn't it? It's not through telephony, but I guess if we had the right partner or provider, we could like automate that telephony journey and get the transcripts of the telephony journey. Could we put that into here?
I was speaking to Microsoft just recently to say, and they were saying that they are about to bring out a telephony journey as an add-on into this as well. I think they're working with a partner on it, and it's going to bundle in as part of the overall package just now. And I think it will also add into all this stuff's in like a COVID pack. So anyone in public sector that's dealing with COVID related things can basically get all the licenses for this stuff for free for the next 6 months. And they're going to bundle the telephony pack in as well to help with like offline call centers and going remote and things as well.
So is there dates for that telephony bundle?
I was just told watch this space.
I've seen it demoed, Billy. It does exist.
Right. Okay. It was one of the Microsoft technical guys. He said if there's somebody looking for it, then let them know because it's imminent.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's the web chat is just one of the channels in inverted commas. From memory, it will also do, please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think it will also do web chat. So it'll do web chat, it'll do, I think, Facebook, and possibly Facebook, WhatsApp. or
it's
SMS.
It's SMS, I think. I'm not sure if it's WhatsApp yet, but
No,
it's
so
Facebook as well.
So Facebook and then SMS, and then the fourth channel will be voice, so that where we've got virtual agent to human agent escalation, you would also then in theory have that escalation from chat to call, or you could use those routing rules to divert from the initial journey directly to one of the other channels that isn't the web chat.
Okay. So Billy touched on pricing there. Is it just come under, was it a separate license by itself with a separate price?
All your different bits are licensed, so you can get your virtual, so you can just get your Power Virtual Agent, and you can buy that, so you can have that as totally standalone, and then obviously your portals are licensed, and then your Omnichannel.
All right.
Actually, so in fact, I think Omnichannel might be. It's an add-on to the chat capability. So Omnichannel, I think, is part, but then the chat capability is an add-on to your customer service license. But as I say, Microsoft have come through. I mean, obviously they're hoping that people buy the licenses afterwards, but for anyone, they have offered a lot of licenses for free as part of this.
COVID response
virus piece. Because even commercial customers, I think, get customer service license or can apply for free customer service licenses just now as well.
Nice.
The support for WhatsApp through Twilio is in public preview at the moment, I think.
Cool.